Good morning, everybody. It's Maggie from Personal Euphoria with today's plank story. But while I encourage you to do a plank, remember any move of your choice will work. You could just get down on the floor now if you have a carpet or a mat already out and start doing some cat stretches or some gentle moves, some spinal rotation where you twist back. Once you're down on the mat and you start moving, chances are I think you'll want to keep moving even after the story's over. But whatever move works for you, you just want to pick that. We'll get the clock on. Here we go. So for Matt's birthday, I had taken him to Diggerland, which if you're not familiar with it, it's a place where adults can drive large construction equipment. And if you don't normally get to do that, it's kind of a fun activity. And so you get to drive 3 different things and you rotate and you have these like headphones on and the staff is there and they kind of talk you through how to use it. And once you understand, you kind of have your own reign of it. You kind of go around doing what you want. So the first thing I got to drive, I'm not sure it's technically a forklift, but it had a giant fork. And the goal was to pick up these giant tires and move them and stack them as a pyramid. Well, I got my first layer down fine, all lined up nice. And then as I started the pyramid, mine just toppled over. I couldn't like stack them right in that regard. You only have about 30 minutes in each machine. So next I get put into the excavator, which to me is just a giant backhoe. That was my least favorite because really you're just digging a hole, which is, it's kind of cool to get to do it. And I enjoyed like scooping up as much dirt as I could and trying not to let any fall out of the bucket as I carefully moved it to dump it someplace else. But for some reason I got left in the backhoe for like an hour. So I was pretty bored by later in my turn, and I realized you could just spin the machine 360 degrees. So I'm spinning in a circle when the woman on the headset, who's left me alone for 40 minutes, says, you know, you could also fill the hole back in. And then she talks me into how you use the backhoe to fill the hole back in, which was kind of interesting. Then you get to do the bulldozer, which I thought would be the least interesting, but was in many ways the most complicated, and for me, the most scary, because there's so much going on. So your foot is doing one thing to run it. Your left hand has to move front and back and left and right. Your right hand has to go front, back, left, right, and rotate. And you're doing all these things at once, but the ground's never level, so you're constantly adjusting. And they kind of cued you to move the dirt so that you built a ramp upward. And then they have you drive this giant bulldozer and balance yourself perfectly on this ramp. Well, I'm petrified of rides and heights. So I build the ramp and the guys in the headphones trying to get me like to come up, and my friends, I can see them all laughing at me because I'm slowly inching my way up to balance. And then when I almost get there, I just bail and go all the way back down. Then another really slow ride to creep back up. Eventually, I did it. I had success. I got myself straight. He had me honk this horn and cheer for myself. But the funny thing is, when I see it in pictures, what I realize is I've gone up and down so much, I've basically flattened the mound, so I'm not that high. I'm not the king of the world in that moment, even though I was excited for myself. But I have to say, it was a ton of fun. It was a great group friend activity. It's outdoors except when you're in the machine. So, you know, even as we come out of COVID, it still felt like a pretty safe activity. And what's also great is we never truly understand someone else's job until we try it. And I still wouldn't say I understand the job of a construction worker. But what I certainly didn't grasp is like just how much movement there is, sort of like playing a piano in all these different pieces going different ways. And you have to have your body in tune with the machine and the ground, and that's cool to realize and sort of have experienced. It gives me a whole new appreciation beyond what I had for construction workers already. So anyway, with that 3.5 minute plank, or whatever movement you chose, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. If you're in Connecticut, it is spectacular. So I hope you find a way to keep moving.